Sachin. It's very nice to have you on this show.
Likewise, G. Nice to meet you here.
And Sachin and myself, we worked together at Sony some years ago, and I really appreciate his work in the cybersecurity area. And we're going to make maybe a few videos together. But today we're going to learn more about his career, which started in India some time back, even though he's now in Singapore. So maybe Sachin, can you share with our audience your past, if I may say?
Sure. So thank you, G, for giving me this opportunity. So my name is Sachin Nair. So right now I'm working in Singapore. I'm a resident here. I work for a company called Aramco Asia, and I look after the complete cybersecurity portfolio. But my focus area is again the GRC domain, which is governance, risk, and compliance. So I think it's good to look back of our life, where we come from, what we have achieved, what was the struggles, and where we are now. I'm sure this will help you to fill a lot of dots in your life and your career, and also you can improve yourself. You can be better yourself. So when I look back at my past, basically I was born and raised in India, and like many other typical middle class Indian, we were born to become an engineer or doctor. That's what it defined to. I chose to become an engineer, reason being I felt it's more creative, it's more of innovation. I felt good when I was doing engineering. And I had no clue about cybersecurity, what cybersecurity is. The only thing which I might have come to my mind is in our university. So I was fortunate to study in a good university in India, and there we had a laboratory called Cybersecurity Lab, but we don't know what exactly happening there. So basically, only researchers used to come and visit there. And I'm from the millennial bracket. We were like a jack of all trades. We never try to that's a typical concept of Indian engineering, I would say, because you will not specialize it. But like many others, I was indulging in a lot of activities, like including engineering, extracurricular activities, sports, and even engineering. My stream was mechanical, but I've had hands-on on computer science, software coding, you name it, designing, so on and so forth. So after the engineering, I was fortunate to get into a company, top IT service company. So I started as a coder. I was really a top performer back then. I don't know how, because though my undergraduation was in different domain. I think thanks to the engineering in India, I was doing really well in coding. But I realized that that's not my area of cup of tea. So I was trying to look out for other projects, including network security, business analysis, quality engineering, all of that. Fortunately, during back then, there was a project which was looking at GRC side. So they were trying to build a GRC platform for a big multinational company overseas India. And I was brought into the team where I could learn the basics of risk management, compliance, ISO, and all of that. Like I said, I didn't know about cybersecurity before, but this gave me, a kick when I started learning about the ISO 27001. That I think the version was 2005 back then. Learned about that, controls, started being curious, and tried to do certification. So the only way to get certifications was like we had a CISA certification from Isaka, we had ISO 27001. So I tried to do certification, but anyway, I could not fully get into this area unless I came to Singapore. So when I came to Singapore, I did a master's. Luckily, I got a scholarship in Singapore, and that's how I moved to Singapore to do a master's in National University of Singapore under computer science. So there we mastered in cybersecurity. That helped me to choose these domains. Then I got an opportunity here to work in implementing an information security system. I didn't have a second thought. I got into that. I never cared about I never bothered about the salary, never bothered about what is next. And I work for a consultancy company. So I want to tell most of the people who wants to get in this field, if you get an opportunity to work for a consultancy firm, say yes to it. The benefit is that you get flavors. You will be able to see flavors of different industries and different companies. So in my consultancy timeline, during my career time, I was able to travel across Asia, see different cultures, see different people, different systems, different technologies, different sectors. I worked for a band, I worked for manufacturing sector, sales, so on and so forth. My foundation was always ISO framework, I would say. We were building information security management system from the scratch for many firms. So when you do that, you have to get your hands dirty by working on vulnerability management, incident response, patch management, security awareness, and so on and so forth. Then I reached a point where, I have to like really think about where I want to progress my career in. And I can't be jack of all trades like I was throughout my career. I have to find a place where, I can bring more value to the organization and myself. I took up a role in IT audit again. So there also, thanks to my certifications and experience, I was able to do well. And then when we did IT audit, I realized the pain points in organization. I realized that where companies are lacking. For example, it can be in patch management. So I decided to move from IT audit side to implementation side again, and thought of focusing on an area where I can bring really value to the organization. And I chose risk management to start off that. So I learned more about risk management, different frameworks, also in different companies. And thanks to the consultancy experience, we have a lot of information. See, information overload, I would say. And you can see different implementation, different pros and cons of different things. So I tried to go in that side, and we worked in multiple companies after that also, or in risk management space. And that's how I also able fortunate to work with Key. There we were trying to build a new next generation risk management system for Sony Corporation back then. That's how I've moved across my career. And if you ask me what were the good things, or if I want to advise someone on what are the catchy things you have to look out for if you want to have a career leap, I would say look for good leaders and not just managers. Because when you work with a leader, when they'll have a vision, they will grow. They want to grow as well as they want to make you grow. So your company, yourself, and the team, all you see everyone growing. That's very important. Don't look for monetary. Don't look for job titles. Don't look for fancy domains. Just because you have heard cybersecurity as a buzzword, don't get into that. You should have a passion and look for good leaders. And I'm sure like everyone can reach an area, a position where they want to become.
I think that's great. I think what I take from this insight you shared with us is, which I think led you naturally to risk management, because you were already multidisciplinary during your studies. Then the consulting work or even the first job made you touch a few IT areas. And then the consultancy showed you multiple industries. And I think, for risk management, you need to really a holistic view and not just to understand what's going on. What's the story behind the control? What's the story behind the risk you can see? And also, I believe even later, when you do recommendations to people, understanding the context and knowing what's important, or, where there's room to play, is very, very critical. And thanks for also sharing the advice to your peers, and I would say even the new generation. And I think in our industry where we lack people, we have to encourage and guide, I think, people to join our industry to be able to limit the gap between offer and demand.
Yeah, one thing is, I think definitely you should have the people who want to get in this field should have a passion for this. Like I said before, you should not just because you have started hearing in the newspapers, or your colleagues are talking about, your friends are talking about in the college or university, won't jump into cybersecurity. Make sure you have a passion for it. You're liking the job. So in my case, I was always passionate towards a crime series. Probably I like to be in a crime prevention piece. Back then, probably I was thinking of getting into forensics, not cyber forensics, the real forensics. Getting to those areas where we can prevent crimes or identify crime. That was one of the one reason why I chose cybersecurity, and I can connect now. If you think you can do well, if you think you're going to like it, you continue that journey. Otherwise, there are a lot of areas in IT. It's not just cybersecurity. Even if you're good at, you can have a great career ahead. You should jump to cybersecurity if you think that that's your area where you can, really add value to the company and yourself.
Okay, that makes sense. I think from my experience point of view, for one is, we never know what we don't know. Yeah, so I think touching a few things to really know, to find out where is your passion. Well, and when you look at things, so sometimes we're good at certain things, but we don't like them so much. Yeah. over the long run. Yeah, and sometimes we like things, but we're not necessarily very good at them. Yeah, so it needs a bit of trying out and finding where you are both good at and where you are passionate about, and maybe a little bit ignore the rest. We're moving to a more complex world, which has many more elements which we as risk managers have to take into account, and also the impacts are very diverse, and the pace at which things are evolving are in a big pace. So I think it's be passionate, but also be very open-minded for everything around you, especially if you are in a broad area like risk management. If you're in some areas like maybe more specialized in security, it may be slightly different, but risk management, I think, is the holistic areas.
We can talk a lot about that. It's a vast area to talk about risk management. We should find another time.
So I'm looking forward to have follow-up videos. I mean, there's so many interesting aspects to dive into, to really not go beyond the obvious in some sense. And I think that's what I would like to do with you in the next video. So I would like to thank you certainly for today for sharing your career with us, and it was quite a journey. I see, how you have grown through the opportunities studies and career gave you to you. So thank you so much for that. I'm looking forward to the next videos with you.
Pleasure. Nice talking to you. Catch up soon.